Hello, my name is Felgonah Oyuga. I'm an author, a writer, a columnist, a social commentator. Thank you for joining us today. I'm happy you are back. That you're back means a lot to me. Asante Sana, this is episode 4. And as we get into it, I just want to acknowledge that we are entering a new year. We're about to get into a new year, 2026. And as opposed to all the yelling we usually do at the new year, this next year is my year, next year is my year, I'm not doing anything about it. This year we are saying we're getting into 2026 with open minds, insisting that we are taking part. We're not just waiting for things to happen to us. So we're getting into 2026 ready to take part in anything that pertains us. We are reclaiming our voices, we are reclaiming laughter. We are going to use mischief and rebellion to create what we want to see. We are going to see people for who they are and stop believing, what they could be. We are just really going to be, I don't want to say woke, but we're going to be conscious. We're really going to be conscious. So I welcome you to join us on this episode. Please like, share, comment, subscribe to my YouTube, and I look forward to hearing what you have to say. What did I realize about the ways I was still waiting, consciously and unconsciously, for permission, rescue, and validation? Yeah. One of the things I must confess is starting this podcast. I was waiting for something. Can't tell you what. And I always had an excuse. Oh, maybe I should buy cameras, but they're so expensive. Oh, I don't know where to go. Where would I start? I don't think people will join. I might say something foolish because I've done very many podcasts, but of course there are other people's podcasts. And, not to toot my own horn, but toot. I'm a good guest. I guessed well, So the fear of then now being the one who I host myself and I guest myself, I was worried. So I was waiting for permission. And, when people tell you should start one, And I'm like, okay, I will. And then not do anything. So I discovered there are a lot of things still in my life that I am waiting for permission. There are some things I want to write about and I'm still looking for permission and validation. And so I'm finding that I'm catching myself when I'm doing it and then trying to, rein it in and trying to insist, just start, just do. It doesn't have to be 100% because again, being procrastinating is also an issue because it's a problem of perfectionism. And perfectionism for me, I think also is not even it's fear because you fear to learn with the audience watching. So here I am learning with the audience watching, failing with an audience, and it's not usually the easiest thing. And you discover that sometimes, even we are on episode, 4, and the first one was something. Just go and watch it, you tell us. The second one was also, it was better, but again, something. I discovered that sometimes I'm too excited, I'm talking, and then the words don't come out the way they're supposed to come out. Every word wants to come out at the same time. Yeah, so I found myself in very many situations still waiting for validation. But the difference is now I am aware. And then I said to myself, okay, you know what? We are jumping. All fit in, kind. So that's my 2026. It's doing it all and doing it sometimes afraid. Yes, mischief and rebellion have become central to my language. So how do you differentiate between rebellion as chaos and rebellion as self-leadership? Some of these questions, even though we generate them as a team, I'm feeling offended by them because, rebellion When it comes to African women, rebellion can never mean chaos, because we were never built for chaos as African women. We were built for order. They have tried to conform us to being orderly, to being good, to being respectful, so there's no way that the opposite of that for us trying to free ourselves would just be chaos. It wouldn't be. It would most certainly lead to good things for us as African women. So I don't think that we need to really police ourselves and say, oh, am I now being chaotic? Or now, is it the right kind of rebellion, as when it comes to self-leadership? Because when you have been told to be quiet, yelling is rebellion and it's good for you. You must shout. You must never keep quiet. Yeah. If you have been taught to be good, you must be bad. As bad girl Millie has always told us, that being a bad girl gets you the corner office, gets you into elective posts and whatnot. So I don't think, it will give us chaos. So whatever it is you have been taught to be, if you feel you're going to be rebellious, it's going to help you in the long term to shed off the good girl or good woman or the goodness part of it. Yeah, in my books, yes, I do talk about the cost of not believing people when they show you the first time. What finally shifted for me from explaining behavior, and accepting information is, of course, the repercussions. Sometimes we really want to believe in people that we don't believe them. You really, a lot of times, you must catch yourself. For me, I had to catch myself at times, and in many times, and I still do it, as I still have to catch myself, because I have that thing. I don't know where it came from or what it is, but it has cost me a lot, where you believe in what somebody could be and not what they are. So you can see this person coming and you can just like, this person is a liar, this person is fake. I don't know if you've ever walked in somewhere, and it doesn't just have to be, a man-woman relationship, even a platonic relationship. You walk in somewhere and somebody approaches you, and the way they talk to you, you're just like, this person is so fake. They could even be a con man or woman. But you're just there listening, and you listen, and you even exchange numbers, and you're just like, this person is it's a con woman. And then the person starts calling you. Hey, I don't usually talk to many people, but I saw you, I said to talk to you, and I think we can do great things together. And I work for this organization, and I work for that organization, so we can all go together. And there's nothing they're telling you there. And they're lying to you. Oh, I'm going to come tomorrow and I'm going to buy your books, or I'm going to take you this place, or I have this connection and I want to come, and I want this connection to come, and because of the work you're doing, take you all the way to which other place. And they're not going to do that. But somewhere in you are still believing that maybe today's the day. You answer the call and you say to yourself, maybe today's the day they actually bring the person. Maybe today's the day they actually show up. Maybe today is the day they actually buy the book. And of course, they don't do that. So either if you're lucky, all you do is waste time. But if you're unlucky and you maybe, introduce them maybe to your circles, they start missing your network, maybe lend them some resources, they start doing whatever it is they do to it. You have to be, whatever it is that happens. So for me, this is I catch myself, and especially after getting myself involved with certain people, and sometimes for years, and knowing that they are not who they say they are, and seeing them for who they are, but refusing to believe when they tell me who they are by not honoring certain things. After a while, you get tired, and now you get to know it. So these days, even when I start wanting to catch myself trying to give somebody a chance and they're going to waste your time, I don't. Yeah, so I might take your number, but I will block you. I might not answer it. So I'm just not going to waste my time. So that's how I have learned to accept people for who they are. Yes, I've talked openly about unlearning shame, good woman conditioning and learned helplessness. So, but what does unlearning actually look like in daily life? Not in theory, but how you make decisions or spend money. Unlearning looks like going for therapy. Like you really need to, sometimes you need to talk to somebody. Again, non-faith based. Sometimes you really need to look for somebody and find out where all this is coming from. Many people think that when you are a good girl, that you're a good person. Most people who present as good girls are very wicked human beings, very wicked women, with a lot of trauma, and because they perform goodness, you think they are good. So, going for therapy, journaling, very important. Journal and find out why you do what you do. Sometimes, writing. I think we have underrated the power of writing your feelings and writing your story. Somebody thinks when you're telling them to write that you have to publish. You don't even have to publish it anywhere. Just write down your feelings and the real story, your real story. Then you'll find out where it went wrong. You'll start being able to connect the dots and you'll find out what it is that went wrong and how it went wrong and what you should do. You must have real conversations with yourself. I've been saying this and people don't understand. There are people who don't talk to themselves. In fact, somebody was saying there are some people whose heads are quiet. You don't even have an internal voice. You must have that voice. You must really talk to yourself. You must spend time alone and find out why you do what you do. Silence yourself and find out what it is that is wrong. You must research because you must take part. And part of taking part of your strategy is like doing the research. You might not have money right now for therapy, but you can get online and get all the resources you need to start somewhere until you get to a point maybe where you need somebody or where you can afford somebody. So you must take part in your life. Part of unlearning unlearning helplessness is taking part in your life. I had a discussion the other day and we're discussing this whole idea of soft life and how, girls are, first of all, we're romanticizing it, but suddenly that has become a trap and you are in this place and this person now is controlling you because he's looking after you fully and because you wanted soft life and you wanted to be a house girlfriend or a housewife or a house something. Now you have no money and everybody's shocked at the outcome, like, oh, you guys don't do this, don't do that. It's because you don't take part in your life. If somebody walks up to you and says, okay, I want you to stay at home. Okay, it's not bad that you want me to stay at home, and you decide with each other, why am I staying at home? And you say to yourself, is this something I can do? Okay, but when I'm there, what am I doing? Because as an adult, you cannot really, and I understand like hustle culture being, problematic. I get that. But as an adult, you are, and even just as a human being, wherever it is you're born, whether there is capitalism in that place where you are or socialism or whatever it is, when you're born with a purpose. You have your purpose. That's why you see some children wake up and they say, I've always known I wanted to fly a plane. And I would sit down for hours and I would watch planes pass by our house. I've always known that I wanted to care for the sick. Ever since I was young, I was always helping. I was in the first aid group. I was in this and this and this. So now I've become, there's a purpose. So if somebody removes you out of hustle culture and says, now I want you to stay at home, then it's your chance to think about what your purpose is. So this is taking part where you say, yes, it's okay. I don't have to do that 8 to 5, but this is my purpose. I've always wanted to do this. So as you have removed me from here, I can stay home. What can I do? I want to go to school. I want to start this gig. I want to write. I want to, there's something you want to do. I want to start this CBO. I want to do something. Yeah. So you must take part in your life. If you want to unlearn all these things, it's taking part. It's having agency. That I over your life. You can't just be sitting down and waiting for things to happen. So if you want to unlearn anything, the first thing is take part. Get out there, have an opinion, and especially when it comes to you. So, thinking out loud. Sometimes when I see questions like this, when somebody says, I've built a career on thinking out loud, or, what does learning with an audience give that private healing never could? And where does it still scare you? When I started writing, I was looking for an outlet. I was looking for a tribe. I was looking for people who were thinking the way I was thinking, or who had gone through what I'd gone through. I said, I've always written, but I started actively writing, and even writing in public, because of, I've gone through this divorce. I'm trying to figure it out. I have no reference. So I'm looking for it, and I'm just telling people, okay, this is what I'm going through. Is there anybody out there who knows what it is that I'm going through? And I didn't always find it. And thinking aloud for me has not always been easy, and it's still very scary. It's still very scary because of being misunderstood. People think it's easy to be misunderstood. That I come out sometimes still talking doesn't mean that it is easy. Being misunderstood has to be the most isolating feelings, because being understood there's an intimacy with being understood. So when you're being misunderstood, and sometimes on purpose, there are people who just choose to misunderstand you, it's very isolating. So that scares me still. But learning with an audience, what it has given me is the gift of helping somebody else. When somebody writes you and says, you know what, I was going through this, you said this, oh, kumbe, I'm not crazy. Oh, kumbe, I'm not, something, I can do something about it. Oh, I'm not, this is not new. That has been fulfilling. That has helped that side of me of learning in the public, when somebody says, okay, you give me, like some motivation to want to come out of my shell, to want to say something, to want to save somebody else. That helps. But the being misunderstood is never going to be easy. I know I've come to terms with that. And these days I don't even bother too much about explaining myself. And especially when it's a situation where somebody has committed themselves to misunderstanding you. So I'm no longer interested in the back and forth. I did, you did, I did. I hate men, you don't hate them. If that's what you want, I'm okay with it. If it helps you sleep at night, good night. So I'm happy if you're happy. What is the most dangerous myth I see women clinging to, even as we go to 2026, even when it's hurting them? This one, I've said it, marriage is not an achievement. It is dangerous. It's dangerous to yourself, and it's dangerous to everybody around you. Just recently, there's been a story, and I say this story, I don't know whether it is real or it is fiction. Whatever it is, whether it is real or not, my problem is the reaction of women and what it is that they have shown. So there's a particular woman, the story goes, remember it is alleged, the story goes, I don't know whether it's real or not. The story goes that there's a woman who finds out that her husband has another woman. And this woman, this husband of hers, has bought an apartment for this woman, because this woman is pregnant with his child. And she kind of finds out that this woman at some point, of course, being pregnant, is looking for a house help. She gets the house help, and then finds a way of getting the house help hired or to present herself to this woman, and eventually gets hired by the, by the side chick or the co-wife. In fact, at this rate, it's a co-wife. If he has bought an apartment and there's a baby and they're living, it's a co-wife. So gets the co-wife to hire, somehow the co-wife hires her maid, the one she kind of got and, pushed towards that direction. And then suddenly, after a few days, the story goes that the woman maybe starts bleeding and is taken to hospital, and she's told, oh, the baby. And the cause of this, your baby dying is, it must have been something you ingested. So then that's when they start going back and they find out that the maid, because who else was cooking the food, and the maid says, now that she's in whatever problem she's supposedly in, confesses that this person is the one who brought her. This woman says, no, I brought her, but I don't know how that woman, ingested what she did. Now, it could be a story. It could be fiction. Now, the real part of the story is the reaction of the women. And most of them with purple hats, purple, purple covers, the profiles. Remember what the purple profile stands for is women against violence. Women against violence on women. That is why we were putting purple profiles. But the same women with the purple profile writing there, oh, show us your way. You are a teacher. Even me, I want to do that. You are applauding violence on another woman. These same women, some of them preach, oh, abortion is a sin, you should not abort, you should not do what? You are applauding somebody killing someone's baby in their stomach. In fact, her husband's baby, her children's sibling, killing that baby. You are applauding it, despite the fact that you have been saying you stand up for all these things. You will do all these things because for you, marriage is an achievement, and you will do anything to keep your marriage. So everybody has this discourse. Oh, I cannot even stand up for any woman. If you went to look for somebody's husband, what do you mean you went to look for somebody's husband? These are two adults. This man could have decided he's polygamous, and he has gotten a second wife who is not interfering with the first wife. But because you think marriage is an achievement, and marriage in your head, the way you have put it, is me and him, 3 children, a dog, and a white picket fence, I will do anything. It even comes out that, oh, maybe this woman even had her own marriage the way it started is because this man was even still in a relationship with another woman. So, we are so interested in marriage as an achievement that it doesn't matter how I get this man and who I kill and what I do to anybody, as long as he is my man and he falls into marriage as an achievement box where I know this happens. I will quote unquote steal, because you can't steal a man, he's not a chicken. But I will ruin that other woman's life until she runs away just to get this man into my place, and then now I must hold on to him. And here, anybody who comes close, if he decides he wants to marry another woman, if he looks at another woman, I will kill that woman, because I'm thinking, if then you want to kill somebody, shouldn't you kill that husband of yours? That's the one you have a contract with. You don't have a contract with that other woman. That other woman has a contract with your husband, and now it is your husband, you plural, not singular. Yeah. So this marriage is an achievement at whatever cost. Comes from, of course, the romance aspect of, I will meet a man, he will sweep me off my feet, we will live happily ever after, we will have this many children, and we walk off in the sunset. Life doesn't happen that way. We are Africans. Happily ever after might look like you and your 3 co-wives, like you and 11 co-wives. Yeah. But this myth is so problematic for women, and you'll find women at whatever level, whether it is women who identify as feminists, those who identify as religious, they will agree with everything. They will have no problem with a woman marrying another woman. They'll have no problem with a woman having multiple partners, as long as there are other women. Don't touch this one. Don't touch this heterosexual man of mine. But everything else is agreeable. Nani, you want to marry 12 women and a woman, do it. You man, you want to marry 3 men or 1 man, you do it. Just don't, when it comes to this one now, I have a problem with polygamy. When it comes to this one, I have a problem with, I don't have a problem with violence against another woman because she touched my man. So you're hearing women sanctioning violence against women because somehow a second wife or a side chick or a girlfriend cannot be a woman. What's the difference between you and that man who says, I killed this woman because she seduced me? She was wearing this dress. Her dress was short, so I raped her. You, I killed that woman because my husband was smiling at her. What's the difference between you two? Yeah. So once we debunk a lot of these myths, we'll stop being dangerous, especially as women. Women can save themselves, but a lot keeps us paralyzed. And I mean, rightfully so. It's fear, it's shame, it's money, it's religion, it's hope. All those keep us paralyzed. And it's valid. I won't say it's not valid. I mean, I say at some point you have to conquer your fears, but they're valid fears. I mean, like the money issue. I give an example of, by the time I left my marriage, by the time I was leaving my marriage, I don't think I had even 2,000 shillings. It sounds sexy now when you say it. I left, I didn't have even 2,000. Man, that thing was hard. It almost killed me many times. Not having money is hard. And that's what I'm saying. I can understand somebody saying, I can't live, I don't have money. I can understand it. And that is why in my book, Things I Wish They Told Me, How to Enjoy a Relationship with an African Man, we talk about a fuck you fund. Because you must have some money. Save it from the time you're having good times. Don't wait for bad times so to start looking for money. Because when you are in problems, you can't negotiate for money well. You take anything. You need to eat now. So work that you could have charged 30,000, you can charge 5,000 because you're hungry now. Yeah, so I understand. They are valid points. Shame. It's not easy being a single mother. In fact, I don't know how come people just automatically just hate single mothers. You'll get into a place, you're living in some estate or a court, and they'll just be picking on you all the time. Your children picking on you. I don't know what it is that you single mothers stand for. I don't know whether that society is scared of looking at their shame, and so it's easy to make you out to be a bad person so that they don't have to deal with where you are. I don't know what it is, but it's not easy to be out there without the way society is made up and still functions. Is still very patriarchal. So somehow, because you're a single mother, you must be a prostitute. It's something you did. So there's a lot of shame, and very many people are not built to live with it. Sometimes many of us were kind of pushed into it. When you can't take it anymore, and you're outside there to say, what, outside there is better than what I know there. I don't know what's out here, but what I know there is going to kill me. So let me take my chances with out here. So the reasons are valid. I'm not going to say they're not valid. And that is why we need to start doing work early. Don't wait for the eventualities. They might not come, and that's what we would like. We don't like for anybody to get married because then they know they're not going to get married. We hope that you have a fuck fund and you give it as a gift to your daughter on her wedding day. We hope that you have a fuck fund and it saves your whole family maybe when your husband gets sick. We hope you have a fuck fund and you decide when you have raised your children, your husband and yourself decide to travel the world. Those are the things we hope for. But, as we remember, we said hope is not a strategy. And if that's not what it does, it will also be useful when a time comes that you have to flee. You're able to start from somewhere. So fears are valid, but we must do something about it. And then sometimes you must then take the next step, even with fear. Sometimes you'll do it trembling and you'll do it crying, but just do it. Don't let it paralyze you for too long, because sometimes sitting there, whatever is coming is worse. Laughter and humor. Let me tell you, there's nothing as healing as being able to laugh at yourself. And not in a degrading way, but just being able to laugh and see the humor in it, because it will make life that much more easier. Women, there's a way they tend to want us to always be serious. There's some seriousness that they think helps us, and then they call it maturity. And you're mature, so nothing is funny. No, everything is funny, my friend. So you have to learn how to laugh at yourself, and in that laughing in itself is healing. You take that break to, of being serious, of carrying everything, and you remove. For a while, you've taken a vacation from your seriousness, and you can look back and you can laugh at yourself and you can share laugh with somebody. And it's rebellion. It's rebellion in a society that forces us to be serious, that wants to yoke us with the maturity. It keeps us young. Laughter keeps us young because you can't always be, folding your face. So I think it's so important when discussing serious things that there must be some humor. Yeah. And anyway, it also gives for a better story. Who wants to hear all the time that you are crying? Sometimes you did something funny. You want to hear also the funny part. How do you build trust with yourself after ignoring your intuition in the name of love, culture, or being understanding? Believing yourself. And that believing yourself is not easy, especially if you've been gaslighting yourself and also you've been gaslighting in the process. Believing yourself is not easy. But how do you believe? How do you rebuild it? And it starts from small things. When you're going to build a relationship, you start from trusting small things. You trust that they will come when they say they come, and then they come. You trust that they will call you when they say they call. You trust that they will show up for you. So the same way you trust other people, you build a relationship with somebody else, you build that relationship with yourself. And you start believing yourself. Start believing yourself in the small things where you don't really need to gaslight yourself. Believe yourself that you are going to show up for yourself and actually show up for yourself. Believe yourself that you're going to come. And come meaning when you say I'm going to go for therapy, for example, and you go for yourself. So when you start showing up for yourself, you start believing yourself. Believe yourself when you see something, and then also acknowledge it when you have seen it. Like the way even when you tell your friend, "See, I told you that guy is at this." Have those conversations with yourself. Acknowledge it. You see, I said. Did I not say? I said. So that now you're building trust in yourself. Did I not say that guy is a hoax? Did I not say that guy is a conman? Did I not say? You're having those conversations with yourself. So the same way you would build a relationship and even rebuild sometimes relationships when you've reconciled, those small steps that you take, spending time with yourself, because if you are rebuilding a relationship with somebody else, you'd spend time with them to figure out how they think, to acknowledge, to affirm that relationship, same with yourself. What would I demand of women listening? I don't like demand. I say, what would I request? What would I ask? What would I like? I'm not demanding, of women who are tired, disappointed, but not ready to give up. First of all, I'm so happy that you're not ready to give up. Because when you give up, then that's it. But you're not ready to give up, and we're acknowledging that we are tired and we are disappointed. All valid, all so valid. You must first know that whatever you're feeling is valid. Things have gone wrong, and accept it for what it is. See it for what it is. If you play that part, acknowledge your part. As we're going into 2026, what I would ask you to do, first of all, is don't forgive and forget anything, unless you're forgiving yourself. But don't allow anybody to bully you into forgiving and forgetting. Everybody must, acknowledge what they did to you. If they're still going to be part of your life, they must acknowledge that this is what I did to you, and then you must also acknowledge how it made you feel. So as we are going in, we are not forgiving and forgetting, because forgiving makes you tired. It wears you down, because there's nothing as bad as somebody doing anything they want to do to you and they can tell you to forgive and forget. First, you're not even acknowledging what they did. Then they are not acknowledging. Then they are not going to be responsible for it. It's a very unfair place to be. You're tired because you're doing many things. Yeah. And for me, I had to get to that point also of realizing this thing of, I used to have a term on my bios that used to say serial entrepreneur, and I used to feel so proud about it. I can do many businesses, but I was making nothing. In fact, I was making losses. You are tired because you are not sitting down long enough to figure out what the problem is, but you're trying to answer it with many things. So you think the only answer right now out of my financial issues is having very many businesses, when you could have sat down and thought to yourself and had a meeting with yourself, sit down, write it down and figure out, okay, what is my problem? My problem is not that I need many income streams. My problem is that I have a bad relationship with finances. I have a bad relationship with money. Where does it stem from? Figuring that out. So sometimes we are tired because we are healing symptoms, but you're not healing the disease because we're not sitting down. So what I would ask women and myself, because I'm still in this process, is sit down with yourself and find out what are these symptoms that I'm trying to manage. What is the real sickness? Or is it my relationship with finances? Is it my relationship with myself? Are there traumas that I'm not acknowledging? Is it, I'm feeling inadequate? What is it? Let's try and figure out all that. And then I think when we do that, then some of the disappointment will not be there. You must also look at people, you must detach yourself from people and see them. So that somebody behaves this way towards me might have nothing to do with me. I know I'm important. I know, I matter. But sometimes people do things based on their own experiences, whatever it is they're going through. So to reduce on a lot of disappointments, we must remove ourselves. We must detach ourselves. Yes, he's my husband. Yes, he's my boyfriend. Yes, it's my child. Yes, it's my sibling. Yeah, and they are behaving this way. Don't internalize it and make it about yourself. Detach yourself and say, you know what, this one has always had this XYZ problem. I've done my best and this is not about me now. This is about them, and leave it there. So detach yourself. And again, remember, I've said even this is for me. Detaching ourselves from people's behaviors, good or bad, but especially bad, so that we reduce on the disappointment we feel in ourselves and even in them. You made it to the end. Asante sana. Thank you for joining us on our 4th episode. As we come to the end of the year, I want to wish you a happy new year. I want to wish you a year you deserve. So put in the work. Let's all put in the work so that we get the year that we deserve. I want to wish you all the good things. May you find pockets of joy and may you be content. Asante sana and see you next year.